Hi everyone. In today's class, we are going to discuss about dimensionality reduction. This is the fourth strategy method of data reduction. Okay. Now we are in actually data reduction concept. Under the data reduction, there are four strategies are there for data reduction. Under the four strategies, the dimensionality reduction is one of the concept. Okay. In dimensionality reduction, data encoding or transformations are applied. In dimensionality reduction, data encoding or transformations are applied to reduce or compress the given data, to reduce or compress the original or oriental data here. Now, we are going to reduce the dimensions. Okay. What are the dimensions here? Dimensions, if you will observe this table, here we are having three dimensions. What are those? First dimension is location, and the second dimension is item type, and third dimension is time. By using these three dimensions only, okay, we are representing these datas. Okay, this is a three-dimensional view of sales data. Three-dimensional view of sales data. Under this, here we have used three dimensions. Location is one dimension, item is another dimension, time is third dimension, isn't it? If this location is not there, means then this table is a two-dimension table. One is item type, second one is a time. Okay, so these are the dimensions of a particular table. Now in this concept, we are going to reduce these dimensions. Okay, that reduction of dimensions is also called as compression. Okay, compression. This compression can be done by using either data encoding or transformation techniques, transformation methods. Encoding is also a changing of data from one form to another form, right? And also transformation. Till now we have seen the transformation methods. Transformation is also a changing of actual data into another form. Okay, each and every data point, we are going to change each and every point of a actual data into some other form. Okay, by using either one of these methods, we are going to compress the actual data to reduce the dimensionality of the data. This kind of reduction is called dimensionality reduction. Clear? Right. Next, there are two types of dimensionality reduction are there. Okay, dimension reduction types are two types. What is the first one? Lossless reduction. Second one is lossy reduction. What are those? Here we are having two types of dimension reductions are there. Lossless dimension reduction, lossy dimension reduction. Okay, first of all, we would see what is lossless dimension reduction. Under this, if the original data can be reconstructed from the compressed data without any loss of information, is called lossless dimension reduction. What it is? If the original data is reconstructed from compressed data, suppose if we have some amount of data, okay, on that actual data we have applied some compression techniques. Okay, whenever we are in need to reconstruct that data from that compressed data, in such a situation, if we will get the information as it is without loss of any valuable points or the information from that compressed data, that kind of reduction is called lossless reduction. The original data is reconstructed from the compressed data without any loss of information. Okay, for example, in our daily life we are using many format of compression techniques. I mean, for rare files, zip files. Why are we using those kind of files techniques, compression techniques? If you have a large amount of data, okay, you want to change that one, reduce that size of that particular data, then you will use those kind of formats, rar or zip. Okay, compression techniques. Okay, after that, whenever you are in need of actual data, then again you are going to perform reconstruction. Then in such kind of techniques, we won't lose any kind of data, isn't it? So like the same, this is the lossless reduction example. Not only that, nowadays we are converting our data into a PDFs. PDF is also a one kind of lossless lossless compression technique, isn't it? Why? Because if we'll change any data in PDF format, we won't lose any kind of data. If you can apply the same thing in reverse order, you can do it without loss of any information. So those are the small examples about lossless reduction. And coming to lossy reduction. Second one is a lossy reduction. So in this, the original data can be reconstructed from the compressed data with loss of information, This kind of compression technique is called lossy reduction technique. These are the two methods or two types of dimensionality reduction. And now we'll see again the lossy, okay, effective methods in lossy dimensional reduction. Okay, lossy reduction is also having some effective methods to reduce the dimensions. Right, what are those? First one is wavelet transformation. Second one is principal component analysis. There are two effective methods in lossy dimensional reduction. What is the first one? It is wavelet transforms or transformation. The second one is principal component analysis. Let us discuss these two methods in detail in next slides. Okay, now about wavelet transformation. Wavelet transform or transformation. The wavelet transformation is also called as discrete wavelet transform. Discrete wavelet transform. Okay, is also called as DWT. It is a linear signal processing technique. This wavelet transform technique is a linear signal processing technique. So whatever the data we have given to this technique, it would be converted into a linear signals. It would be converted as linear signals in this technique. Clear? Right. It transforms a vector into a numerically different vector. Suppose if you have a vector information, information within a vector of information, then that would be converted into a different, numerically different vector. Why? Because if you want to generate linear signals, then the data can be transformed into a numerical kind of data, right? So if you have given a vector of data into this wavelet, given data to this method, in the sense it is going to convert that one into a different vector, but these two vectors length is same. The two vectors length is same after transforming. Okay. So whenever we are applying this wavelet transformed method, the data can be truncated. The data can be truncated, which means size is decreased, or otherwise unusable edges are removed, something truncated. Okay, it is the meaning of that, which means compression technique. And next, this DWT, which means discrete wavelet transformation, is closely related to the DFT, discrete Fourier transform signal processing technique. Discrete wavelet transform technique is related to a DFT signal processing technique, which involves sines and cosines, which involves sine formulas and cosine formulas here, isn't it? The next point is the general procedure for applying discrete wavelet transform uses a hierarchical pyramid algorithms. Here, the general procedure applying for this DWT uses a hierarchical pyramid algorithms. Okay, that halves the data in each iteration. Okay, whatever the data we have, the data can be represented like this. Okay, like a pyramid, isn't it? So this is one half of the data, this is second half of the data can be halved in each iteration, which means first iteration, this is second iteration, like that. The resulting in, if you will do in such a manner, then the computational speed is increased, resulting in fast computational speed here, right? So remember that here the hierarchical pyramid algorithms are used in this wavelet transformation. The method, this algorithm method is as follows. Here we are having some hierarchical pyramid algorithm method is there in below slide. We'll discuss now. Okay. So let us see the method of a hierarchical pyramid algorithm. Okay, under first step, the length of the input data vector, is assumed as L. Okay, and it must integer power of 2. After that, it can be changed into a L square by adding zeros to this particular input data. Okay, so what is the original length? Original length is L. Whenever we are going to apply this this transformation method, then at that time the L value is doubled. So what is the data of that particular what is the data? Under that, here we are going to add some zeros, right? Zeros are necessary. Zeros are added to this particular input data. Okay, so automatically the length of the data is L square. Clear? And each transformation involves applying two functions. Okay, at each transformation, here we are going to apply two functions. What is the first function? First function is to apply some data smoothing. The first function is you are going to do a data smoothing technique. Okay, and here you are going to calculate some sum or weighted average, etc. And the second function is calculate the weighted differences. Calculate the weighted differences among the data. Right? These are the two functions which are going to apply for this wavelet transformation here. And third step, these two functions are applied to pairs of input data. Okay, here the input data can be divided into a pairs. Each one can be, I mean, we have doubled the data by adding some padding bits. Those are zeros, isn't it? So the two functions can be applied to each pair of input data, right? After that, the fourth step, the two functions are recursively applied to a set of data obtained in previous loops. These two functions are applied recursively, not only one time, more than one time we can apply on that given sets of data. And coming to the fifth step, the after these many iterations, we will get the resultant compressed data. Okay, that is called transformed data. These kind of steps, or after completion of all the iterations, we may get the transformed information. These are the 5 steps. Okay, we have under the wavelet transformation algorithm. That algorithm is a hierarchical pyramid, right? And here there are, these are the two small representations about wavelet transformation signals. Okay, this is developed by HAR2 kind of signal. Okay, this is the HAR2 representation of wavelet transformation, and this is the WG4 representation. Already till now we have discussed about this kind of representation only. That is like pyramid shape. Okay, the data can be divided into two halves, and we can process the data. By doing that, we may get fast kind of results. Results in fast. Okay, so these are the two different representations of a signals of wavelet transformations. Okay, finally, one more point is that actually, why are we using this, where we are using this wavelet transformation methods means, first of all, this wavelet transformation, it transforms pixels of the image into wavelets. Okay, in real time, we are going to apply this wavelet transformation for transform pixels of the images into wavelets. Those will be used for wavelet based compression and coding, which means if you have an image or picture, okay, whenever you want to compress that picture, then you are going to use this wavelet transformation. So which kind of picture you have? Suppose if you have your photo, isn't it? If you take the photo on high quality cameras, means Okay, with HD quality means it has more number of pixels and the resolution is also more. Okay, then you will get a HD quality pic, isn't it? If you want to send that pics to your friends means, okay, what it's going to ask, whether you want to send these pictures with the same resolution, same pixels to that person, or or if you want to reduce that resolution pixel clarity from that picture or not. This kind of options you will get before sending the pictures to your friends. Okay, so that is the compression techniques there. So in this compression techniques, here we are going to what compress the pictures data or images data. By doing this wavelet transformation kind of compression technique, okay, it won't reduce the picture. It won't just it will give less clarity to that picture, okay, than the HD quality, isn't it? Already we know that what is the HD quality difference and normal quality difference in everywhere. Nowadays, even TVs also HD quality is available and normal connections is also available, isn't it? So what is the difference? They're just pixels and also the resolution differences are there, isn't it? So whenever if you want to save the HD quality data into our systems means it may need more memory, and also whenever you want to retrieve those pictures from that memory means it may need a fast what processing speed. You may need processing speed also, I mean best processors also, isn't it? So because of these reasons, whenever you are going to save these pictures into your memory, automatically those pictures are compressed. Then after that only the data should be saved into your computer memory, isn't it? So for such kind of things, we are going to use wavelet transformations. If you have an image of 100 MB, that would be compressed to 10 KB only. Okay. So wavelet transformation here, the picture is not damaged. It won't show other shape. The same thing is represented, but with less number of pixels and less resolution. That's it. Okay, little bit less clarity than HD quality. That's it. Okay, so that kind of what transformation of images information into transform of images into compressed data, then you are going to use this wavelet transformation. And this wavelet transformation is also used in thumb impression compression techniques also. Okay, every day in many offices, every day we have some missions of thumb impression, isn't it? That data can be saved. Okay, by using these compression techniques. Within that, this methodology is implemented. Wavelet transformation technique is used, okay, to compress the thumb impression data. That is another real example of wavelet transformation. Clear? And coming to, we'll go for the next one. The next one is PCA. PCA in the sense principal component analysis. This is the second lossy dimensionality reduction method. So PCA, which means principal component analysis, also called the, okay, Conan-Lowy method or KL method. It searches for kn dimensional orthogonal vectors that can best be used to represent data where k is less than n, which means this principal component method is used to represent the data, okay, in the given format. What is this format and how we are going to compress the data? Okay, suppose, assume, okay, here you are having two axes. One is x1 and x2. X1 is, this one is x1, and here we have one x2, right? These are two axes. Within this, here we are going to, okay, represent the original set of data. Okay, how we are going to map the data into this into this area, means here y1 is one attribute, assume y2 is another attribute. Y1 is one attribute and y2 is another attribute. Here this is the representation of y1. If you will draw this line, okay, the data points of the y1 is, you can represent within this area only, right? For example, okay, for example, assume these are the data points under this y1 within this area. Okay, after representing y1 attribute, okay, you should represent another attribute of another attribute, but another attribute always, okay, you can represent perpendicular to first attribute, which means the y2 is perpendicular to y1 only. Y2 you can represent in this way. Automatically y2 is the perpendicular to y1 means you can draw like this. Okay, then here also same. You are going to here also you are going to use the data points patterns. Okay, so these are the data points or patterns in y2 area. Okay, now we are going to consider, okay, now we are going to consider the data points under this, the data point, okay, under this barrier itself. Whichever the data points come within this barrier, then only we will consider those. Okay, boundary. Here we have what mentioned one boundary, right? Within that boundary, which kind of data would come, that only we would take the data. I mean, other than this boundary, if you can find the data, you are going to remove this data. So this star you are going to remove. This is the y1 attribute, y1 data point under y1. Okay, this is y1 is one attribute. Under this attribute, this star is one of the data point. So here you are going to leave this, or you are going to remove this. As well as under y2 also, here you have two heart symbols, right? These two heart symbols are also not come under this this particular what pattern, this particular line boundary. Okay, so which data points are come under this boundary? We are going to consider those data points only, not the outside points. Okay, these data points only have importance, not this. Here we are going to remove these data points. We are not going to take the consideration, right? This is the representation of data points or attributes under the PCA, right? Clear? This is the second method. And what are the advantages of PCA? Here you have three advantages of PCA. First one is it is computationally inexpensive than Weyler transformation. And second one is multi-dimensional data. Okay, you may use, till now we have seen only two-dimensional data only, but you may use that particular concept to multi-dimensions. Okay, so you may use that same concept for multi-dimensions. More than 2 dimensions also you can apply. Next one, principal components may be used as input to a multiple regression concept and cluster analysis. If you want to find out the, if you want to apply some clustering on that particular data, then you may use this kind of concept at that place, isn't it? So this is about PCA. Thank you.